The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
About you, but through Christ I can do all. Stand up tall with my left foot, post up on the wall. Easy if we fall in the streets, life can get hard. Streets used to be a lot different from what man recall. Me a aim for my post like a soccer ball. Feel run the road that don't need a map at all. Babylon them want to hold me with a strap at all. But man a lion, me no Cancer nor Capricorn.
Though they want to see me fall, I'm gonna be okay. Though my back's against the wall, I'm gonna be okay. They fighting me now, I'm gonna be okay. Jehovah eyes are watching me now, I'm gonna be okay.
Welcome to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today we got special guest Carlos Christian. How you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
Hey, I'm doing okay. How you doing, brother?
All right.
I can hear you. How you doing?
All right. So we're going to talk about the organization that you founded, Starts Within, right? I want to talk to the audience about your experience being incarcerated, you know, coming out and changing your life around. So give me a little bit of information in regards to Starts Within organization.
Within an organization, we was founded in 2000 out in Columbus, Ohio, in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And our main objective is to reduce the recidivism rate. And we go inside of the prison and implement programming inside of the prison before guys get released. We say we got to attack a mentality. And if we do that, then we ain't got to worry about incarceration. So if we start to attack the way that people are thinking that's getting them incarcerated, we don't have to worry about the prison population to continue to expand. So we do that with just continuing to just put information in prison through different programming that we do. So it's just been real exciting, and we've been able to. We on our 5th year-long class right now in this logo program, and the reason why it's called the Walk Logo because it's indicative of actual logo organization. And what you can see, if you see on my guy on the left hand side,
yes,
he's a liability in the community, to becoming a guy on the right hand side who's an asset in the community. So then that's how we get it done. And the way we get that done, again, is by attacking the mentality.
Okay. So walking logo, right? That's what it's called?
Yeah, that's what the name of the program is, a walking logo. Because we say that once you get that information, you're going to go from a liability in the community to becoming an asset in the community.
Beautiful.
This is the same guy, except for he's been able to evolve. We don't say change, because when you change, it's a possibility that you go back. See, when we say evolve, that means that you will go to another level and you can't go back to that same level again. So just like a baby evolves and becomes, an adult. Once you're an adult, you can't put on a onesie no more. It's not going to fit.
Right, I got you.
So once I evolve and say that, man, I'm not going to sell dope no more, I'm not going to rob no more, there's no way that I'm going to go back to robbing or selling dope, because I done evolved from that way of thinking. So now my normal, I got a new norm now. So now my norm doesn't even involve, that as an option. So that's when we say we evolve and not just change.
Okay, so I'm gonna play a video clip of you in action, but it's gonna talk about you evolving. All right, so I'm gonna play this clip and we're gonna talk about it.
19 years old, what happened is that what happened with Carlos Christian, I had to go do a 10-year prison sentence. I had a 3-month-old son. I had to do a 10-year prison sentence for attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. But what did I do when I got inside of that penitentiary, when I got inside of Marion Correctional Institution? I said, I don't care what everybody else is saying. I don't care about them talking about I'm 3555519. I don't care what society say. I don't care about what they are talking about. I care about what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is that, hey, I'm great. I'm a child of God, man. I'm a good father. Because I'm talking about these things, I become these things. I made the decision while I was incarcerated. That means that can't nothing happen until you make the decision. You guys made the decision, right? Because can't no resources benefit you if you don't tap into that greatest resource that is within your soul. It's all in the mind.
That was powerful. I really commend you on that. You changed your life around. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Like, what happened?
Right.
First you did some you was caught up in the law. Let's talk about that first. You was 19 years old?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Right. Yeah. So then that's what it was. It was like I was 13 years old, and when I was 13 years old, I said to try to get to another level of life because I'm against my environment, where I was, just this environment. And I said that I'm so desperate that I'm willing to do whatever. By this sell dope. I was 13 years old, so by the 7th grade, I was selling crack and marijuana because I said that then I'm gonna sell both products so I can expand my clientele, so I can get to a level of life that I desire, and that's that I was privy to in my environment. People told me that that's the way that I was able to get it. That didn't happen. At 19 years old, I was able to get some money and things like that. At 9 years old, that's when I had with my charges. I actually got into a situation where I found out that one of my friend that I was rolling on my side, he was stealing drugs. And you know what? I can't allow him to steal my drugs and, get away with it. Right. So I with that decision to say, man, what am I going to do? So then that's when I went on ahead and I shot him in the head and I shot him in the back. Going off of that mentality, that mentality that we say that this is how we handle our situations. This is how we move. And I just believed it. And I ended up shooting my mans in the head and shooting him in the back. And he survived. Point blank range too, brother. And he survived. Great. And I ended up getting hit with attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, and possession of firearms. Because I was already out on bond, Eddie, when I had got hit with that attempted murder charge. I was out on bond for the drug trafficking charge and the possession of drugs and possession of firearms when I got hit with that attempted murder charge. And that's when I had to go inside a Marion Correctional Institution to do 10 years. Now, when I'm inside a Marion Correctional Institution, I'm telling myself that it's no way that is, my idea of success. It's no way that this is what I had planned to get from me being involved in selling dope. Like, really believing I was going to be able to get to the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas and things like that. I was going to be able to get to this next level of life. And I started to look around and I said, hold up, man, I got to stand up for count. Man, hold up, man, I got to go get on strip searches. I got to get strip searched to be able to see my people. In fact, man, it's not even a lot of people that's really fighting to come in to see me. Man, hold up, man. This stuff ain't right, And I started to really understand that I wasn't in the place that I wanted to be. I was a father at that time. My son was 3 months old when I got incarcerated at 19 years old. And I said that, man, hold up. I grew up with my father. My father was there, and my mother, she was there. She wasn't able to be there because she got involved into the drugs and how she was thinking. She ended up getting incarcerated when I was a youth too as well. So she wasn't able to be there. But my father there. And hold up, I was father be there. I can't be, like my whole idea was to be my son. just like it was there for me. And when I was incarcerated at 19, I said, man, I'm not there the way that I want to be there. So then that's when I started to say, man, I started to challenge the information that I was operating off of. And I said that, you know what, I don't have the right information because I'm not in the place that I want to be.
Right.
And then that's when I said, I need to go out and I need to get different information to contradict the information that I was currently operating off of, because I was so convinced that it was my thinking that I wasn't this Eddie that said that, and you know what, it's because of the system. It's because of this, it's because of this and that. It's because of my guy who was stealing from me and why I am here. I said, no, the reason why I'm here is because the way that I was thinking. And if I was thinking in a way that get me here, surely I can think in a way that will keep me out of here, released from here. That's when I started to go out and get different information. So then that's when the evolution started to happen. Is when I started to realize that. And the first thing that I did is I got into scripture and I started reading the, and I wasn't raised in church or nothing. I didn't have no idea church was about or any of that. And I just got into the Bible and I started to read the scripture and I started to apply it to my mentality. So I started to read the scripture and I was watching TD Jakes on Thursday on the Potter House. Right. And this is how I started to get my understanding. This is how I started to think in a whole different way. And I said, man, I'm doing things in a whole different way. And this is how I started to change the way that I was doing things when I was incarcerated, is by the way that I was thinking. But I was getting in different information that contradicted the information that I was operating off of. Because I realized that that information that I was operating off of wasn't information that was going to get me to another level.
All right. That sounds good, man. That's so, the real talk. And we deal with a lot of youth over here in Toronto that have the same story. So that's why I really wanted you on the show to share your experience. You know, you're not just telling somebody something, you're living it. You are a walking logo. But with that said, we got to go to a break. We'll be back. Real Prison Reform with Carlos Christian. Open to 6.
With so many newspapers within the community, it's sometimes hard to tell what separates us from the rest. Most of the time, they all brag about the same thing. You know, the large circulations, tons of online views, and it can go on and on. But what really separates the Toronto Caribbean newspaper apart from everybody else? Well, it's simple. Our service. No, seriously. Hi, I'm Grant Browning, founder and CEO of the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I have over 20 years of branding and marketing experience, and I've worked with countless companies and corporations to do one thing, and that is to raise their profits with their brand. With over 40 years of combined experience in branding and marketing, our amazing staff is fully prepared to sit down and figure out exactly what you need to stand out from your competitors.
The reason why you don't see that anymore is because
the ad is too powerful, bring too much people.
So what are you waiting for? Give us a call today. We'll be happy to help.
What y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do? This is what it's about, man. It's not gonna change unless we do something to change it. Now where's the penitentiary? It's on its head. But it takes our involvement. It's not going to be on his head as long as we sit back and wait for everybody to put it on his head, because they're going to feel sorry for us. It's not going to be on his head. And if it's not on his head, then our children will go through the penitentiary 10 years from now. And if they go through it 10 years from now, it's going to be way worse. Because if you don't do something to intentionally make the situation better, it will be worse. You gotta pay for electricity now in the state jails.
They're crazy. Yeah, shit. They be locked up.
Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today we have special guest Carlos M. Christian. And we're talking about real prison reform. First thing I want to say to you, brother, is that I'm very inspired, you know. I like your style, your energy, your zeal. It's fiery, you know, and we need some fiery men to now speak to men. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, so it's powerful. And for me, I'm like, it kind of reminds me of Scared Straight. You know, like, you know, the aggression, you know, you're like the Hulk Hogan of prison reform. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it. That's why I really extended to reach out to you for you to come on the show. But we do got to get you to Toronto. But what I want to ask you is, what does real prison reform looks like to you?
Okay, yeah. So you got to understand, like, a lot of times what you see is people trying to work to try to get people out, and they say, man, we need to get the people out, and they reduce the prison population. They trying to get people out, right? And this is the and once you get the people out, it's like they go back to their hoods, but they got the same mentality. What's going to happen when they come in contact with that same mentality? And I'm talking about kids. I'm talking about their friends. What's going to happen when they come in contact with those individuals with that same mentality?
Right.
They're going to poison them with that mentality, right? And then they will adopt that mentality, because that's the only thing that you can do is create that same mentality. So I know the goal with releasing people, but you release people with the same mentality. You only thing that you're doing is you are increasing the problem. Right. So what real prison reform is saying, that we are literally body slamming a mentality. So what you see me right there in that video, what you see me, I'm in front of the people on federal probation. And what I'm doing is I'm getting you to abandon a mentality that got you incarcerated. I'm telling them, like, brother, look, this is what got you incarcerated, and you need to abandon that mentality. First of all, I need you to understand that incarceration is See, so often we believe that it's okay to be incarcerated. We kind of celebrate incarceration. And when I got released from my 10-year prison sentence, people like, Los home, and people celebrate me like I just got my, like I done graduated a
university or something.
Salama Kaladi. I don't know what it's called, but it's like Salama Kaladi, whatever they call. But it's like, but they celebrated more than they would celebrate that. More than they would celebrate somebody coming back from the military. I'm talking about people will lock down whole counties when people get released. The right people get released from prison, they will lock down that whole county, and it will be barbecues. It will be all kind of things going on because we coming back from our prison sentence. So sometimes what we do is we come home and we still have that same mentality supporting prison, but I came home in a whole different way. And I said, man, you know what? I don't like prison. Like, prison is conflicting against my spirit. I don't like the way that it makes me feel. And I don't care what nobody else is saying. I don't like the way that it makes me feel. But that's what made me do what I did do when I was in prison. That's what made me do the attacking the mentality. I college, bro, prison. I graduated from business management with a 3.83 GPA. I got into administrative office technology. I learned the computers, Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint. I put in the work. I had to look at people and say, man, I'm not a like, man, look at doing what you doing is direction is going to support prison. And I don't like the way that it make me feel. And I literally came to the conclusion that it wasn't for me, literally. So I'm like, man, if it's not for me, then I'm not going to be doing the things that continues to support it. But I got to get to the place first that it's not for me. So when I'm talking about real prison reform, I'm getting in front of people who was incarcerated, people who are at risk to get incarcerated, even now in an at-risk high school with 9th graders, and I'm talking to them. I'm letting them know about real stuff. I'm telling them the 13th Amendment, because I digested, Eddie. I digested the 13th Amendment when I was incarcerated. I'm like, man, what? What do you mean? In America, it's like that's the only way that you can be a slave is through incarceration. The 13th Amendment says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except for as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist in the United States or any other place jurisdiction.
Beautiful.
I say, man, the only way that I can be a slave is through incarceration, and it serves as punishment. You mean to tell me that Walmart, Target, Hewlett Packard, Victoria's Secret, Honda, they targeting the penitentiary to get the word out? Like, this type of stuff made me feel like a sucker. I'm not even playing. I'm like, man, hold up. You mean to tell me that you don't need. You mean to tell me you're going to stop the people from Mexico coming in now because you got 2.3 million people that's incarcerated who's legal slaves who we can get to way less than what the Mexicans can work for. So now we do to come to America no more because now we already got 2.3 million people who is volunteering to be slaves.
Wow.
Like, ain't nobody forcing me. I'm volunteering because I say that I'm going to go out here and I'm going to blow somebody's head off. I say that I'm going to go out here and I'm going to sell my dope. I say that I'm going to go out here and commit the crimes that's going to put me in a position to be a legal slave. Because everybody ain't getting incarcerated. I think that so often when we come up in these environments, we think that doing it because everybody in our environment is doing it. But it's a whole sector of people and a population that does not have to worry about getting incarcerated.
That's
that does not have to worry about getting their heads blown off. It's a whole section of people that doesn't have to worry about that. So what I started to challenge is that why do I have to worry about it?
Right. So let me ask you this question.
Why I gotta accept that?
Let me ask you this question.
I mean, if this, okay.
I know it's data, right? So it's kind of like you get a delay with my voice, so that's why you keep going. But it's all good. I want to ask you, when did the transformation happen? Like, I mean, you've been in prison from 19. Now you come out a grown man. So what happened, and how long did it take? How long did it take?
Yeah, Eddie. I'm called to this. I've been called to this whole movement, to this whole real prison reform, to this whole turn the community on this feet. I've been called to this because it started when I was 19. Before I even got to 10 years, it's when I was in it started, man. You know what? I don't like this. I don't like this environment. This is not my idea. It didn't take no time. Immediately, I started to work on developing a new individual. It didn't take no time. And I spent my whole entire 10 years developing this individual that you see, right? So it's just like, so it didn't take no time. I didn't have to go immediately. I was like, man, I'm not going down that road. Because people was trying to, when I was in the prison, people was they was glorifying my case. Right. It was like, brother held his crown down. They was glorifying it. But I was in the space to be like, man, it ain't nothing to be glorified about it, brothers, because I'm away from my son.
That's right.
My son is going to be 10 when I come home. Like, it ain't slick. I mean, I'm in a situation right now, got to stand for count. Man, it ain't nothing to be glorified. I'm not even talking about it like it's something to brag about. Like, I'm in a bad situation right now. And now what I'm doing, but see, that gave me the ability to be able to cussing no more. I was looked at him cussing. I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of the language that I had adopted when I was in the street. I'm gonna start to develop a whole new language and see what that does. Like, I'm gonna abandon the language. I'm gonna stop saying nigga. Like, the only time that I say nigga is when I'm conversing on. I don't say it. I'm gonna tell you, like, man, I'm not even gonna say nigga because it doesn't make no sense. If it was nigger and I'm going to say, man, you know what? And that word was developed to demean me. It wasn't developed for my good. How am I going to say I'm gonna drop off the ER and put an A on it and say that it's mine now?
That's facts. So guess what happened?
That makes no sense to me.
A lot of people are glorifying the negative. You know what I'm saying? That's my nigga. Oh, he locked up. Free up Willie. Free up Bobby. Free up, you know what I mean? Free up murder. You know what I'm saying? They glorify the negative. So we need reform. We need people just like you to get in those prisons and aggressively free these people up. You can't go in there soft. You got to go in there like body slam that pulpit if you have to. Turn it upside down if you have to, because we got to make change, and we can't do what we've been doing for all them years because it wasn't working. It's not working. So this is definitely powerful. Real prison reform. We have to go to a break. Keep watching Hope in the Six with Carlos M. Christian.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Carlos, I'd like to say it's actually helped me discover that I can break the cycle of fathers that don't know how to do things. Like my father was a victim of his father not being there and things of that. And I know that I can actually end this generation and maybe start off with a positive generation start here. So
wow,
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Tactful things that I've heard you say is that one of the most positive things on this earth is a made-up mind. You know, and when you said that, it just let me know that we as prisoners can get out and accomplish anything that we set our minds to. So I want to thank you for bringing that to light, and I'm digging the program.
Welcome back to Hope in the Six. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and today we have special guest Carlos M. Christian, and we're discussing real prison reform. Brother, man, that's powerful. You were just in the prison, and you were talking to these young men. One spoke about the cycle. His father, you know, the situation with his father, like not being a good father. He was trying to break that. Then you had the next man talking about a made-up mind. He said you touched him when you talked about having a mind made up, right? You had your mind made up from you start to be, they tell you when to go to bed, you when to wake up, doors close, open. Like you said, this is not me. I don't want to be a slave in America. You know what I mean? And you're in America, we're in Canada, but it's a similar, very close. The correctional system, the justice system is very close to America, right? So what's going on over there is definitely relatable. So I want to talk to you about being there, talking to these men in prison, and how it made you feel when they were receptive, and specifically what they were talking about.
Right. So yeah. So it's just like it was so exciting, Brother Eddie, because it's like this is connecting, man, people from all walks of life.
Yes.
Different races.
Yes.
So this is going to be like, this is my idea. This is how we're going to become one. We're going to become one at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Because these dudes in here, some of them say, man, you know what? I tell you straight up, I ain't even like black people, you know, but now that I'm in this class, I'm starting to see things differently, you know, and now you my brother. So now I'm looking at things differently. What is he going to do with his children? He's going to raise his children to also respond to people outside of his race in a different way. See, because this stuff is given from the parents. Like a racist isn't, they are developed. So now we're going to connect the world from the prison population. That's why I'm so excited about the prison population, because when you at the bottom, you can connect the people at the bottom because they desperate, they hungry, and you can connect them. And once you connect them, now you can connect the rest of the world, because people think that the solution is going to be seen right now, today, or you're going to see the results of what you're putting forth today. No, this is set up for 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when these people, children, become adults, right? And they thinking in a way that is asset to the community, to the world as a whole, right? So that's why I'm just so excited when I'm able to go inside of the prison. And it's one thing to go inside of the prison, and you can go through my web pages and through my YouTube channel, and you see me in all kind of different prisons and stuff like that. You see me in the juvenile facility. It's one thing to get inside of there, right? That's why I say I've been called to this, brother. No joke, right? But to be able to get the video, right? To be able to record these brothers, right? Face the camera. Like, people don't allow recordings to go on inside of the facility.
That's correct.
But when you got that type of favor, when you've been called to this, brothers, like different stuff happens that don't happen in regular life, right? Like, so I've been called to this. Like, literally, like we got in that same county jail, the sheriff of that county jail, he bought over 700 copies of my books. Prison Without Bars, and also the Walking Logo, Taking Back My Life, Volume 2. Them brothers get the book. As soon as they come inside of the jail, they get the book.
They feel impacted by what you're doing.
You know
they get it. You know what I'm saying? They see the fire in you, and they can't stop it. Nobody can stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing in life where people say, you could do what you want to do. You could be what you want to be in life. Like, that's a real saying. A lot of people don't have that faith to believe it. You know, they doubt it. But anything a person set their mind to do, they're going to do it. So when you go in there with your passion and your energy and your mind made up, it's going to be done, brother. So I appreciate that. But Walking Logo, that's a book you have, and Prison Without Walls. That's what you said?
Prison without bars. And the reason why it's prison without bars is because it says that I became free while I was incarcerated. So I was in prison, but I didn't have the bars. But guess what? But people out here who is in high school or out here, they are in prison without the bars. So so they are in prison because they are incarcerated in the mind.
That's correct.
Because they say that there's people right now in Toronto that's in certain neighborhoods, and they saying that I can't get out of here. Because they say that they can't get out of there, guess what? They are in prison because they won't even look for opportunities to get out of there, brother. They won't even look for opportunities because they already believe that they can't get out of there. So then they are in a prison, even though they don't have no bars. You ain't got to put no bars around the person for them to be in prison. You just got to put that bar around their brains for them to be in prison because they won't even try.
There was a thing. There was a video on YouTube.
Bars,
there was a video on YouTube about a man named Houdini. We know the magician, the famous magician Houdini. He said that he could get out of any prisons, any prison, like the gates, the bars or whatever. And the video was just explaining his situation. When he took on a prison took on a challenge, they put him in prison and they locked the gate, right? And they said for him to get out. So he was trying all his tactics to unlock the lock and couldn't get it. So he's sweating, and when he finally almost given up, he rushed against the bars, the jail, and the door opened. So what the person was saying, it was a motivational thing. He was saying that gate was open all along. They didn't even lock it. You see what I'm saying? But he thought it was locked, and he was trying to get out. But all he had to do was lean on it, and it was open. So that was just now like a metaphor. People are trapped like in their mind. In reality, they're not. There was another video where a monkey, there was a trap, how to catch monkeys. They put like a coconut in a hole, and the monkey put his hand in the hole, and once he holds onto that coconut, he can't get out because the hole is only small for his hand to go in and out like a fist. So when he holds onto the coconut, he's pulling that coconut, and his hand will never get out. So once he's doing that, then they come and catch the monkey. But if the monkey should now let go that coconut, his hand will come out the same way it went in. So these are now trapped mentally incarceration. There's a saying down here that they say free up, demand them. I say it as well, but I'm talking about mind. Stay woke, mind, mentally. A lot of people are incarcerated mentally, so it's such a same situation as those that are locked up in prison.
Brother, like, and that's the thing about it. It's like people, the incarceration is just like prison. The physical incarceration is just a reflection of the mental incarceration.
That's correct.
I was incarcerated before. I'm saying I was incarcerated because I felt like that I had to be as thuggish as I possibly had to be. I felt like I had no option. I felt like that if I didn't portray myself as this, then I would be taken advantage of. I felt like that I would be vulnerable. So I couldn't be who I really was because I felt like that it would put me in a bad space. So I was incarcerated before I got to prison. But then that's when I started to challenge that because I said, I got to become free. So now when I'm in prison, I became free. That's why I'm still free. I've eclipsed my 10-year prison sentence by 2 years. I've been home for 12 years. But people will look and say, Los, man, you able to go into all of these prisons? I'm talking about there's nobody between me and my brothers. That means I go in there, they give me a man down button. That means that people in. Right, so it's crazy, and I got the background that I got. So you'll see the sheriff buying 700 copies of the book, and he buys the book with seized drug money, drug bust. He uses the money that he makes from drug bust, and he purchased my books with that money that he makes from drug bust. Right, like my money got seized for me selling drugs. Not because I freed my mind. I'm talking about the benefits. It's just so beautiful when you free your mind. Like it's just so beautiful because now I'm in a position to where my books is getting bought by drug money. That's crazy.
That's dope.
That's
you get
crazy.
it?
But again, that's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. But that's why I put it on the documentary. It's on the documentary so people can see the sheriff saying, man, Carlos, I buy your book with seized drug money. But not only that, but now what that does, Eddie, it influences other sheriffs who are in a position to make the same decision to also use your drug money to invest into programming for those individuals who are inside of the county jail. That means that when you come in to do a 10-day sentence, we need something to jolt that thinking because everything is about the thinking. Like if we can jolt that thinking within that 10 days before you graduate to the 10-year sentence, before you graduate to life in prison, before you go out there and body somebody, if we can do something to jolt that way of thinking, we got to do all that we can do.
We got to evolve.
So
you know, we got to evolve. Happening. With that said, I got to go to a break. We have to go to a break. Hope in the 6, real prison reform.
Hello everyone, my name is Jermaine Chambers, and I'm very excited to tell you about the newest political and current affairs program coming here to Brampton. It's called On Point.
The first step of true reconciliation is learning more about one another.
Join us on Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we discuss all the issues.
I will never forget the trust you put in me.
Municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance, we will talk about on Point. So do join us.
So much more cost effective to keep people out of jail than try to house them when they're in jail.
Yes.
And, you know, so if we can, in some small part, have an impact through your work, changing lives. And you know what made a big difference for me, too, was sitting in your class.
Yes.
And early on, I came in, sat in the back, listened to your presentation, watched the interest that the inmates had in what you were sharing. And frankly, before I left that day, I don't know if you remember this, but every man to a person came up to me and said, A, they were glad you were there, but B, they also said, I wish somebody had talked to me like Carlos has talked to me when I was young.
Welcome back to Hope in the 6. I'm your host, Eddie Martinez, and we're joined with Carlos M. Christian from Columbus, Ohio, United States of America. And we're talking about real prison reform. You know, we're talking about body slamming this mental incarceration. We're talking about tackling it up from the bottom up. You have a nice saying, and I love it. Turn the community on his head, something like that. I don't want to mess it up. Sorry, say it for me.
Turn the penitentiary on his head. Stand the community on his feet.
That's bars, man. I definitely appreciate that. That is that's something like a theme of life. You know what I'm saying? For all those that are caught up in the justice system, turn the penitentiary on his head. Stand the community on his feet. You know, time is slipping us, but boy, we could go on for days with this conversation. But I appreciate you coming on. I want people to know the effects of this. You know what I'm saying? Like how real it is. And similar to you, I definitely have that same calling because I actually was a deputy sheriff in the state of North Carolina years ago, 2011. Short-lived. From 2008 to 2011, and then I came to Toronto. So, and then I changed my life, but based on God leading it. You know, God led it this way where now I didn't get back into law enforcement. I got on the other side now, trying to help people because I wasn't beneficial. I mean, shout out to all good officers and doing their thing, but I'm not beneficial to people, especially my people, you know, making arrests and those type of things. I got to free them up, not lock them up. You understand what I'm saying? They got people for that, but that's not for me. You know what I'm saying? This is where my passion is, and God led it that way, you know, similar to you. So we're doing the same work, you know, and we got to get you to Toronto. You You know, so we're gonna continue that
I'm telling you,
conversation and get you out here because I got some young men. I need to put some fire on them. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm ready, brother.
definitely.
I'm so ready, brother. And I know somebody was telling me they was like, Los, man, I don't know if you can get out there, man, with the felonies, man. You know, you got the felonies on your jacket. But I say, man, hey, ain't nothing impossible.
Well, I connected with this famous movie producer. His name is Scott Budnick, and I'm gonna shout out to him and see if he can help because now he was a producer of Hangover 1, 2, and 3, and he went to some prison in California, and a 16-year-old was sentenced to 300 years. And when he seen that, he said, "Listen, this is crazy." So now he got involved in the justice system. He got a nonprofit organization, and now he just released a new movie. He was out here in Canada at the TIFF event, and it's called Mercy, Just Mercy, I believe so. I don't want to mess up the name, but I think it's Just Mercy with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. And it's about like a innocent man locked up in prison, a black lawyer representing him. It's very good. But he got into that now. So he's now into meaningful film. And that's not me saying it for him. That's what he's saying. So he's trying to do a little different thing. Now, he's in Hollywood, but now he take a liking to the situation that many people are facing with incarceration, the injustice. So now he's doing that. He got a nonprofit organization. So let's see. We make some phone calls and see if we could get you here. You know what I'm saying? Because he was telling me recently that he got a guy that was on the same situation like you, able to fly out to Australia to do some filming. So they work things out for people. You know what I'm saying? Just how they got the cameras in the prison. Know. They got the cameras in the prison for you. So, you know, some prayers and some faith with works. You know what I'm saying?
I already know.
So can you tell the people your social media handles? I want you to tell the audience your social media handles, how to get in touch with you, how to find out where your things are, your books. Talk about it a little bit, your social media handles.
Okay, yeah. So social media handles is starts within STARTSWITHIN. That's for that's Twitter. That's the Twitter handle. For my handle for Instagram is Carlos, CARLOS, M as in man, Christian, CHRISTIAN, Carlos M Christian for my Instagram account, and for my Facebook, it's also starts within.
Mm-hmm.
So starts within. Mm-hmm. Oh, Carlos Christian for Facebook too, and starts within. And then my website is startswithin.com.
Okay. And talk about how can they get your books, copies of your books.
Okay, yeah, so you can get copies of my book. I always encourage people to go to the website to get my books, right? Okay. To go to my website and get my book because I just want to keep Amazon out of my pocket, right? Okay. I don't want Amazon to be in my pocket, right? And they just be wanting like heavy duty stuff. I'm not a fan of that, but it's also on Amazon. But I say go to my website and you can get the book. Also on the website is also the documentary that you can purchase too as well. The documentary is on there. It's a 2-hour-long documentary to where you can see the programming that we implemented inside of the prisons and also the people who've been impacted by the programming and then the people at the top. See, Eddie, the thing about this movement is that we've been able to get the people at the top who is making the decisions, and we've been able to impact the people at the bottom who's being impacted by the decisions. So now we got both people facing in the same direction, and that's why it's a movement. You'll be able to see that on the documentary, right? So it's not just one side. You know, sometimes you get it to where one side is with you, but the other side ain't with you, and then it's difficult to have a movement. Right. But we got both sides, the people at the top and the people who's being impacted by the people at the top.
That's both our strategy here as well.
We're putting both of them on the same page.
We're doing the same thing on this here because we're in the hoods, we're in corporate, we're in City Hall, we're in Jane and Finch, we're in the projects, we're everywhere because that's how you got to connect with the people. So you got to be able to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I originally started from the streets. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I know, and I could connect with them. I have those experiences. My father been in prison. I almost was murdered twice. Like I have that street credibility if people want to check back. You know what I'm saying? However, I also changed my life around also. I got into law enforcement, and now I'm doing what I'm doing. So I know both languages, and it's needed towards to be effective as we want to, because corporate don't speak that language. And the hood don't speak that language. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the tactics. That's what we got to do. Thank you for coming on. I'm gonna end with one of your videos. Also, I want you to just say that quotation again. To turn the penitentiary on its head. Just say it again.
Turn the penitent's head, stand the community on its feet. And before change can be seen externally, change must be done internally. It starts within.
Starts within. Walking logo, Carlos M. Christian, Real Prison Reform. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to just join us and let Toronto know your story and the similar things that's going on there is here. The same struggle worldwide. We're in this together. Absolutely. Keep watching Hope in the 6. We're going to end with one of your videos. Hope in the 6.
Hey, if you don't answer that bell, then you can never be a champion. You got to answer that bell. When you hear that bell, ding dong, then that means that it's time to rumble. You got to get ready to get into the middle of the ring and get it in, right? That's what it's about. Every time that bell rings, man, I go ahead and answer the bell, and I'll be ready to rumble. I'm not about to spit out my mouthpiece. You are not about to catch me just sitting in the corner and spitting out my mouthpiece and saying that I quit. That means that I don't care if I got knocked down in the previous round. I'm going to get right back up. I'm going to get to my corner, and when that bell rings, I'm going back into the middle of the ring, and I'm about to rumble. That's what it's about. Go rumble. When that bell rings, get ready to rumble. Turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I'm gonna be okay. I will fear no evil, that will my rod and my staff. I'm gonna be okay. Thou preparest a table before me in front of my enemies. I'm gonna be okay. Thou anointed my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. All on my shoulder, I'm a soldier, Lord, I told you, run with Jehovah. So nobody can test. Every day of my life, I'm blessed. Yes.